Hey everyone, RJ here. Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm doing a long-term update review on the Blade X1 5G. So, like I said at the beginning, I am doing a long-term update on the Blade X1 5G. I've had this phone, actually, this is the phone that I got when I first started with Visible. And I've had Visible for a little while, and but it hasn't been used in quite a while because a lot of other phones come through and stuff like that. But I have pulled it out of retirement, I guess you would say, a little bit, checking for updates and updating apps and just kind of going through the phone to see how it actually works. Now, you can still buy this phone on Visible website. It is a Visible exclusive phone. Now, just like in the TCO 20A 5G, I will leave links down below in the description and on screen. It's best to look in the description because it tells you how to set everything up if you're wanting to port over your number or just get a new number. At checkout, you can put in my promo code and get your first month for $5. So, for 40 unlimited service. So, really good deal there. Anyway, the price I paid for this phone was $360, which in my opinion was a little on the steep side. But currently, you can buy this phone for $240, which in my opinion, for what you're getting, the specs, how the phone works, that's a great deal. Now we're going to start off with the display of this phone, and the display looks excellent. Powering the phone up here, it's got a really nice vibrant look to it. It is a 6.5 inch full HD display coming in at 1080 by 2340, and I mean honestly, the screen looks fantastic. It's not dull. It's not, you don't lose any the color shifts or whatever. You don't really lose any with this phone, and that's what makes this phone so awesome. Now on the rear, of course, you do get a triple camera setup, actually a quad camera setup, excuse me, with a 48 megapixel wide angle lens, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, and a 2 megapixel macro and depth sensor, and you can record at 4K and 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second on the rear. And I'll verify that. Actually, I'll verify that right now. And yes, looking right here, you can record at 4K at 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. So a phone for $240, you can record at 4K at 60 frames on the rear camera. That's pretty impressive. Also 1080p and 720 at 30 and 60 frames per second. Now for the front camera, you got a 16 megapixel wide angle lens. You can record in 1080p and 720 at 30 frames per second. Now, when you're going over the processor, you are running the Snapdragon 765G processor. It's a 5G chip. This is a 5G phone. And honestly, this 765G has been a tried, true, and proven processor in a lot of phones like this, like the Pixel 5, Pixel 5a, and multiple other phones also. The 765G just works, and it works well. Like I said again, RAM at 6 gigabytes, storage at 128 gigs, and it does have an SD card for expandable memory, which is really good. If I look down a lot and look up a lot, because I'm looking at the specs here, because I don't know them all by heart, all right? So, now this phone is over about a year and a half old. It came out in January of 2021. But if you want my honest opinion, I think it's worth the pickup, especially for the price. We got a 4,000 milliamp hour battery with 18 watt quick charge. But in the back there, of course, is your fingerprint scanner. Now, it does have a 60 hertz display, but honestly, not that big of a deal. Phone still runs very smooth. There's no issue with how the phone runs. It can play games just fine. It can multitask just fine. It is basically a stock version of Android, I guess with a little bit of ZTE skin on it or whatever. But the cameras on this phone are really good. You know, front and rear cameras, the audio was good. Watching YouTube, watching Netflix, Hulu, whatever you want to watch, it's going to be a good experience with a 6.5-inch display, because one thing is full 1080. Another thing is got a very nice, punchy, vibrant display, and the speaker on the bottom is really, really good. Now, it is Type-C. It does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which is still very important. Now, you might want to ask, does it got a light for notifications? And you can see up there my battery is low, and it does have a light up there for low battery and all that kind of stuff there as well. This is a great phone. Like I said, I've had zero issues with this phone. None. It has gave me no problems. Battery lasts a long time. Cameras work great. Camera takes some very good photos. Some pretty good videos as well. You know, the bottom fire speaker sounds good for audio. Headphone jack. You know, like I said, the display is very crisp, very clear, and it's very speedy. I mean, you know, for $240, you're getting some good mid-range specs here, because retail price was $360. I think it was whenever I bought this phone, and it's dropped down to $240 right now. And I think that for what you're getting, and this phone is unlocked after 2 months. I used it for 2 months solid on Visible. It's now unlocked. I can throw in my T-Mobile SIM card, and it works. I can throw in my Red Pocket Mobile through AT&T SIM card in here, and it works without any issue. It's just a fact. My biggest gripe with this phone here is the lack of software updates, software support, security patches. It's like they put the phone out. They gave it a couple of patches right after it was released, and they just forgot about it. And that's what I hate, you know, whenever companies do this, because to me, it just shows a complete lack of care for their products and the consumers that are buying their products that wants to get their phone at least semi up to date. And also, you're going to want to buy a case, like I said, because it is a fingerprint magnet. And the case selections are very limited, so I went with the 2D Emerge case. So you can hide those pesky smudges if you want to just clean it all the time. Or throw it in a case like this right here, and honestly, you won't see those smudges again. You know, so I recommend this phone for the price, for the performance, for what you're going to get out of this phone for $240 straight from Visible. I would say it's a great phone. The only downfall I've seen with this phone is the software support for security patches. But other than that, it's been a great phone. It's a great phone to take photos. It's a great phone to take selfie photos in good lighting, recording a 4K 60. That's about unheard of on a phone of this price range. So that's all I got right now. So if you me anyway, hit that like button. Any questions you may have, leave it down below. I'll get back with you as soon as possible. If you're new around here and haven't subscribed, consider subscribing and clicking that bell, turn on notifications. I'd appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.